What's up, everybody? It's Aaron and Ray here again with another week of franchise tagged fantasy football podcast. Ray is not fist pumping this week, which is, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. He did tell me about a story how they ran out of barbecue when he went to a barbecue fair. But that's neither here nor there. So this week we're going to get into the divisional breakdowns. And then this week we are going to start it off with the AFC North. Um, as always, please like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up. Tell us what you guys think of the podcast. We are 49 out of 50 subscribers for our best ball league. So the fan best ball league. So if we get one more subscriber, we'll start opening up the best ball league spots, and we'll go from there. $50 gift card, I believe, is what we determined. So
A decent gift card. It's not going to be like a Chipotle gift card. We don't want to give out that trash. Hot take. If you guys didn't know, I am a big hater of Chipotle. Hate it the most. No thanks. It's the Kenny Galladay of food to me.
So really good, just never been on a good team.
It's not good, and it's never been good, and people just lie and say it is. They're like, "Oh man, I love this dried chicken. Please shove more of that in my face hole." No thanks. Pass.
So do you like Qdoba?
No.
You don't like any burrito place?
I do.
Wait, time out. All you California people, he loves Miguel's.
Yes. Miguel Jr.'s, please. Please and thank you. There's also a Jose's
That's
down the
that's
street.
when you took me to, right? From when you picked me up from the airport?
Yeah.
We got a burrito.
That was a real deal.
That was okay.
Stop it. Why don't you just sit there and lie?
Viewers, Ray hypes stuff up so much that when you finally get some of it, it doesn't live up to the hype. So then you're disappointed. So then even though it's good,
it's still good.
It's just good. It's not good. It's good.
That's the most excitement I've seen on Aaron's face in 10 years.
You hyped that up so much, bro. Like the dang, what is it? The Tortas place in Phoenix. You hyped that thing up so much. I saw this on the Food Network. This, blah, 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 blah. Then we go there, guys, and it was mediocre at best. What's up, Bo?
Did I not take you to the realest street taco place that you ever had in your life?
I didn't go with you and Nick.
I swear to God you did.
I swear I wasn't there.
I think you were drunk the whole time.
No, I was not there. I had stuff to do that next day. You stayed with Nick in Mesa. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Divisional breakdowns. We're going to get into it. It's going to be eight episodes worth of the divisions. We're starting off with the AFC North, so AFC will be this month, or for the next month, the next 4 weeks, and after that, the NFC. Dependent upon how the season goes and the off-season goes, we might speed them up and put two divisions in one episode, but for right now we're going to do one at a time, kind of keep them kind of short and bite-sized chunks. So anyways, jumping into the AFC North, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get any great street tacos in the streets of Pittsburgh,
Cleveland
or Cleveland.
I don't want to talk about Cleveland.
All right, well then, before we start talking about Cleveland, you want to talk about Julio Jones?
I want to talk about Tim Tebow. How dare you?
Oh my God. Number one jersey sale.
Ooh, girl. You got to believe that man's going to be catching touchdown passes.
No.
Imagine what ESPN's going to look like the day that he catches a touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Imagine that.
So practice?
Oh, no, we're talking about a real game. He gets in a real game, catches the tutty. Poof. Who else is their tight ends? Who do they have out there? I don't even know who is the tight end in Jacksonville.
Tim Tebow doesn't make the roster.
Oh. I think he does just because of the jersey sales. Anyways, yeah, I'd like to talk about Julio Jones. We're not talking about Tim Tebow. Not doing that right now.
I hate you so much. I cannot stand you right now.
Where do you think Tim Tebow's going to go?
What do you mean?
Where do you think he's going to go? Oh, I'm sorry.
Fantasy drafts?
I'm already thinking Tim Tebow. I'm still thinking of it. He's got me.
Where do I think Tim Tebow is going to go in fantasy drafts? He's not going to be drafted.
Julio Jones. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. But I was thinking of Tim Tebow catching tutties, doing prayers in the end zone. That's what I was thinking. Where do you think Julio Jones is going to go? You think he's staying?
In Atlanta? No, I think
Yeah.
Atlanta moves on from Julio Jones. I think they trade him, get what they can for him, and move on.
Do you think it has something to do with the injuries? Do you think it has something to do with his age? Do you think it
Both.
has something to do with Calvin Ridley and
All
Kyle
three.
Pitts? Maybe.
Not all three. Not
Okay.
not Kyle Pitts yet, but Calvin Ridley for sure.
Okay.
Call me crazy, but I can see Arizona being stupid because Nook already said he'd restructure his contract to get Julio Jones there.
I just want to just to take me back in a time machine and pick up the best pieces of these men's career if he went there. Imagine just for a second they had DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, AJ Green, and Larry Fitzgerald on the same roster. Say that 10 years ago. You're like, what? What? Maybe not DeAndre Hopkins, but everybody else. What?
You could technically even say that probably 5 to 6 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane, wild.
Yeah, but I don't know because he did say he did say that he would restructure his contract to get Julio if they wanted to trade for Julio Jones. I think that might honestly be a possibility. Probably the furthest stretched possibility out there,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Otherwise, I could see who's hurting right now. I could see.
I would want to see him on Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to see him on the Rams. Maybe I think that would be a good fit.
I would want to see him if I could see him anywhere on Buffalo. They're not going to run the ball, and all they have Stephon Diggs, and I don't think it eats into Stephon Diggs' workload at all. I think if anything, it actually bumps the volume up.
What about Tennessee?
Yeah, but then I don't think that Ryan Tannehill's as good as a quarterback as Josh Allen, so therefore he's not going to be able to support two.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that. I feel like you're really cold on Tannehill. I don't understand why.
I'm not really
quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. I just don't think that he's as good as Josh Allen.
I can agree with that. I guess I have to agree with that. I don't want to, but I have to. So I keep seeing like viral videos going on Twitter and stuff like that with Julio Jones working out with Derrick Henry right now. I can do 8-mile runs up hills and stuff like that because they're freaks of nature. And I'm sitting there thinking if they're working out together, and they're buddy, maybe that might happen. I think that'd be a good spot for him to go. I think it would.
To Tennessee?
Mm-hmm. And that doesn't eat into
I'm not saying
AJ Brown.
Your AJ Brown number 1 overall take just takes a dive.
I don't think so. I don't buy it. No thanks.
I don't care if you're buying or not because I'm not selling. I'm giving it to you for free.
I think those are the teams that I'd like to see him go to, though. Honestly, maybe I'm trying to think anybody else. I really think Oakland makes the most sense. It really does. You pair him with a now kind of progressing threat in Henry Ruggs. You got Darren Waller out there. Maybe Josh Jacobs is not going to get eaten into by Kenyon Drake. Maybe I doubt it. I don't know what to think about that backfield, but you get what I'm saying. I'm
kind of warming on Josh Jacobs as it goes along.
Kind of him too, and it's gross, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
Nasty.
We'll talk about that when we get up to the AFC West.
Anyways, I could see him going to San Francisco to look over Debo because both of them are always seems to be injured. So when one's not, one could possibly be on the field. I could see. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say Oakland makes the most sense.
I don't know. Just that feels right. But I thought that there was going to be some more moves throughout the offseason that didn't happen. So maybe I'm probably wrong about that too. I
mean, I guess we'll just wait for next week, really. June 1st to see where all the big money makers go.
I think you could see some moves too. Definitely some moves coming down the pipe for that. But I do not think that he stays in Atlanta as well. I don't think he stays there. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can get something for him now, whereas next season you can't at all whatsoever.
Yeah. What do you do if you have him in a dynasty league on fantasy? Do you just let it ride?
I don't know if you're going to be able to get a lot for him. I don't think. What if he? Okay, so if he does end up getting traded to a, let's say, Oakland or a Carolina, maybe, I don't know, then I'm holding on to him. I'm going to let it ride because you're not going to get as much value as what he's bringing back. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're probably going to end up having to trade, a second round pick for it. You're going to get like a second round pick for it. You're not going to get. Go ahead.
If I have him in Dynasty, I'm gonna hold, and I'm gonna hope that he gets traded somewhere where he just goes off the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and then I'm gonna capitalize on that peak value. Because I mean, after that, if you get a back end first and a back end second, if you get 2 rookie draft picks for him, you're already gonna get more value than what he's gonna give you over the next following season. Because then you're just losing a player and only having one draft pick each round.
Now watch. We're talking about this right now. Watch them just go to Kansas City. I don't know. Watch them just because they have all the money. They turn the cap room off. They turn the cap off. Yeah, just bring them into Kansas City. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really it for any news that I want to talk about.
Feel that. So you want to start with the Browns?
Yeah, I'll start with the Browns. So, look, I'm like a closet Browns fan. I've been that way since like Jeff Garcia was there. I don't know why. I just like the Browns. And as a Nick Chubb truther, I have to like them more. Okay. But this draft class that they had, you're looking through it. They started out with Greg Newsome, which arguably is the best corner in that draft. You're going to pair him up with already a studded defense. He's not going to have to come in and be the number one guy because they already drafted so many corners already before him. So you couple that with
their secondary play last year was abysmal.
I think they had a lot of injuries and a lot of COVID case too. They had a lot of guys that opted out as well. But you think that you're going to have Jadeveon Clowney, you're going to have Myles Garrett pass rushing on obvious passing downs. That's going to open up a lot more interceptions. I don't think that you're going to one-on-one Myles Garrett and one-on-one Jadeveon Clowney and be successful throughout the majority of a game. Do you not agree?
I would agree. It's really hard to block 2 solid edge rushers. One of them are coming free, and if one of them don't come free, one of your interior defensive linemen should. Theoretically speaking. Can be done, but yeah, I agree. And then second round, they drafted Jeremiah Owusu Kamara?
Yeah, dude.
I can't say it. Yeah.
Neither one of us could ever be
the linebacker from Notre Dame.
I think I was pretty high on him going. I personally, as a Packer fan, I wanted the Packers to take a look at that because they've always not given a hoot about the linebacking players that they have. But for the Browns to go and pick up a linebacker in a situation where I don't necessarily think they had a whole lot of depth in to begin with, he's going to be a day one starter right away. So you already hit on 2 guys. I don't think you're going to miss on Greg Newsome. I don't think you're missing on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, that dude.
Karamoah?
They didn't need any help on the offensive line. They're getting back Odell Beckham, and I know that's a gross thought right now for a lot of people. I see that's the face, and I get. But look, he's still really talented. And Baker looked good towards the end of the season. He looked sharp. Do you think that's
OBJ is gonna get people on the name still?
Think so?
I do.
Can you get him in the 6th? Would you be mad?
Yeah, I don't want him in the 6th.
Ooh. 7th.
Pushing it.
Really? I don't believe you.
Personal beliefs, bro. Even when he's on the field, Jarvis Landry has been the more dominant receiver for them. OBJ has like one really big, and I'd call it a trap game. You draft him for his name. He disappoints the first 4 weeks of the season. Then he breaks out a big one. And then you put him in your lineup every week after that, and he disappoints.
I think that if you got
Do
him
I
in the
like
fifth,
the person OBJ? Hell yeah, he's cool as hell. Man's an athlete, but when it comes to fantasy football, he's good at professional football, yes. But when it comes in the purposes of fantasy football, he gives you the name that gets you a trap game.
now I'm just saying this is from a football perspective. Do you think that the Browns are better or worse with OBJ in the roster? The statistics behind that from last season when he missed all that time with a torn ACL would tell you, you know what? They were probably better
I
without
think
him.
it's because they try to force feed him the ball.
I think, now hear me out. I think it's because they were coming into a newer system. You still have to have time to break that in. They weren't using Nick Chubb correctly. They're not. They started to at the end of the season. Nick Chubb is a better running back than Kareem Hunt. That's it. Period. Hands down. This man needs to be touching the ball 20 times a game. Period. Kareem Hunt is a good running back. Nick Chubb is an elite running back. There's a difference. Levels here. They have a great offensive line, and if Baker plays like he did at the end of the season, you're looking at a pretty good Browns team, a team that most likely wins this division.
If they win this division and go to the AFC Championship game, even if they lose it, Baker Mayfield gets extended as the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think he's already going to, unless he just
poops the
took
bed.
a fat dump in the bed.
Yeah,
Just
but
a
anyways,
dumper.
they did draft a wide receiver in the 3rd round as well.
Yeah.
An offensive tackle in the 4th round. And then kind of just, the fill-in picks here or there where they're kind of just trying to get some depth to see what people might actually look like. But yeah, I mean, Browns draft class overall wasn't bad. Browns overall, I don't think are a bad team. I mean, honestly, I really don't.
I personally think they are the best team in that division. I said it last year.
Well-rounded?
I think overall, just if you're looking at it on paper, if you had all 4 of the teams in the AFC North,
Well,
all stacked
you
against each other.
want to rank them at the very end after we talk about all 4?
Yes, let's do that. Yes.
All right.
Better way to do it.
So then, nextly,
Nextly.
Next.
Is that a word? Is nextly a word?
I don't know. I just made it
I don't
up,
think
bro.
so. I don't think so.
Up next, we're going to go ahead and go to Steel City and go ahead with Pittsburgh Steelers. I personally don't like the Steelers going into this year. I don't like your Najee Harris pick. Talk about how he's going to be a top 10 whatever. I don't think that he's going to be that great of a running back strictly because their offensive line did not get shored up the way that it needed to be shored up in order for him to be able to come out and have a big rookie season. Mike Tomlin, yes, wants to do the we have 1 3-down back and that is it. He will be that guy. He might be okay, but I don't think he might be a top 24 running back. I could see that. They re-signed Juju, even though the Ravens offered Juju money. Juju said nah. Chase Claypool 2nd year. Deontay drops Johnson 2nd year. Big Ben has noodle arm still.
I think the biggest takeaway from this entire team's offseason was losing Alejandro Villanueva. That was huge because that was the only piece in their offensive line that was really worth anything.
And now where did he go?
What's that?
And said, and where did he go? To the division rival.
Went to the Ravens, which makes them even better. But you know what? If there was wheels still on the Big Ben bus, they have been now fallen off.
If there's wheels on the Big Ben bus, all the tires are flat. There's
flat.
one lug nut holding each one of them on, and they're wobbling as he's going down the road.
You ever think like, oh man, the caveman probably came up with square wheels before he came up with round wheels?
I like to think of triangles.
Yeah, Big Ben's a square and triangle wheels. That's what he's got.
Oh man,
I'm telling you, he looked awful towards the end of the season, and it wasn't even like he wasn't throwing a lot. He was throwing the ball like 40 times a game because they didn't have a running game. But the only reason I'm high on Najee Harris, and I want everybody to understand this, isn't necessarily because I think that they're going to have a productive rushing game. I think that he's just going to get so much volume. I think that's why he's viable. That if he gets 25 touches a game, which if Big Ben comes out throwing the ball like he's got a wet noodle attached to his shoulder, they're going to have to run the ball. He's going to get the ball 25 times a game. There is no way that he doesn't finish in the top 24. There's no way that he finishes outside of that.
Yeah. I mean,
Barring injury.
they have to be good touches. They have to be quality touches, though. To be fair, dude, I mean, the Steelers' defense is going to give the offense the ball a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Their defense is great.
Now, one thing I really want to bring up about the Steelers, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but they were just smoking hot for the first 8 or 10 games of the season. Was it 8 or 10? Smoking hot. And then you started hearing these whispers of how the locker room's getting away from Mike Tomlin. If that's real, if that's a real thing, and that's why they started looking so bad towards the end of the season. Started out super hot, and they ended horribly. I think that was a real thing. These real whispers you're hearing. If that's real, that's going to carry over to this season. Do you think? Are you afraid?
You hear that every year about the Steelers, though. At first it was Le'Veon, then it was AB, and now this year it was, or the year before or whatever, it was Big Ben. Then it was something else. Then it's something else. It's always something that comes out of Pittsburgh. It's like there's disgruntledness in the locker room. This is being said about this, and this is being said about this. And Mike Tomlin's always like, it's an internal issue. We'll handle it internally. He never really says anything about it. I personally think that the Steelers always come out really hot, doing really well, looking really good, and then they start to, slide a little bit, and then slide a little bit more, and then people start playing them closer, and then they start losing. And then I think it's personally the Pittsburgh media that's like, oh, let's make up some story to make them think that the locker room's in shambles, so people don't think that the Steelers are really a normal average team like everyone thinks that they are.
I can see that. I can get behind what you're saying there. It's got to be something, it's not just hearsay. I don't think though. There's got to be something there because, like you just said, you pointed it out. It's been 3-4 years running now that you've always had some sort of weird, internal issue. You want to say. You don't hear that from other teams. You don't hear that from New England. You don't hear that from other teams. It's just kind of weird that you always hear that sort of issue from the Steelers. Now that could just be
every year the same thing.
It could just be the personnel they draft too. That there are teams that will not draft low character. I'm not saying that everyone on the Steelers is low character, but I'm saying that they have taken shots on guys such as Plexico Burress, or because he was a bad guy in the league for a little while. For a while he was. They've had those type of personalities for a long time. AB being one of them, But AB came in kind of normal, and then maybe
the
just
superstar
went nuts.
Got to him.
Yeah, just went nuts.
Steelers defense for fantasy purposes is going to be good. They were good last year. They're going to be good again. Draft Steelers at your own risk, but if I'm drafting any Steeler, it will be Najee Harris, or hear me out, Juju, simply because he's going to play the slot, and Big Ben's noodle arm's not going to let him throw it down the field. I think a lot of people will reach for Chase Claypool and Deontay Drops Johnson. I'm just going to call him Drops from now on.
Yeah, you do that.
Reach for Drops too. Hopefully he bounces back one time, but they have no one behind Big Ben at quarterback either. We've seen the Mason Rudolph experience. We've seen the Duck Hodges experience.
They re-signed
Dwayne Haskins.
They have Dwayne Haskins, and then they also still have is it Josh Dobbs? They still have Josh Dobbs there too.
Mm-hmm. They got Duck Hodges is no longer on. I think he's on practice squad now.
Yeah, but it's weird. Was Josh
Dobbs hurt? They re-signed Mason Rudolph and let Josh Dobbs walk.
Oh, they did? I don't know. Literally don't have anybody besides Dwayne Haskins. Maybe that's the future. I don't think so. I don't want that. No thanks. Yeah.
Either way, we'll just have to wait and kind of see. But yeah, if Big Ben goes down, get rid of your Steelers players essentially.
Sell them.
It is what it is. It is what it is. And I will go as far as to say as I think the reason the Steelers' run game was so good, and we think that it's so good in our head, is because they went from Jerome Bettis to
Le'Veon
can't think of
Bell.
his name. Thank you, Le'Veon Bell, mixed with a decent offensive line with both of those guys, that made everyone think that the Steelers have just this immaculate run game.
Maybe I'm not necessarily saying that that was my thought process going into it. I just think that they just get a lot of volume, and
Yeah, when
if
you're the
you're
only guy in the backfield working, you're going to get a lot of volume.
yeah, that's why they're valuable. That's why you want a little piece of that. That's why I want a little piece.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
hey, if Najee Harris falls in the end zone 10 times, I'm gonna be happy.
I mean, I'll be happy too. But if he falls in the end zone 10 times with only 600 rushing yards, you're not going to be that happy.
Not really, no.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
let's go ahead and pivot to where the Steelers, Andre Villanueva went.
Alejandro
Alejandro,
Villanueva.
thank you. I
Like
can't.
I said,
My name's
ladies,
bro.
ladies and gentlemen, myself and Aaron, the
D
Warfighter
Nice.
Havener,
Is there a
could
D Nice
not be,
here?
could not be,
I'm gonna need you to go see Principal Oshak Hennessy.
could not be substitute teachers
No,
at
but
all.
anyways, yeah, Alejandro Villanueva. He went to the Ravens, so let's go ahead and talk about the Ravens here.
All right, so I think the biggest part about the whole Ravens offseason and everything they've done, man, losing Mark Ingram is probably the best thing they could have done. That is the best thing they could have done, hands down. Look, I'm not big on J.K. Dobbins. I think everybody that listens to the show knows that. I'm not about it. But if there was going to be somebody that's going to get some work because of somebody not being there, I mean, J.K. Dobbins is going to get that work that Mark Ingram was supposed to be getting. But you gotta also understand that the Gus Bus is still there. It's still Lamar's backfield. But man, them getting Alejandro Villanueva shores up a little bit of the line that was lacking in their outside help, the left and right tackle position. I'm not too sure which side he's going to be playing, to be honest. But it shores up a line that's going to help them down the road. But the big drafted player that they went and got was Rashad Bateman. It's going to help out a lot. They now have a legitimate guy that can be the number one there. Hollywood isn't a number one. He's not. He's a flyer. He's a guy that's going to be stretching the field. And that's what he's really good at. You saw that he's not capable of being in the inside hash mark position, you know what I mean? Like that, in that slot position. He's not able to do that. And Mark Andrews was suffering from a lot of drops last season. I think with Rashad Bateman, you're going to see a little step forward in that passing game if Lamar Jackson can hit him.
Yeah. So you're talking about Villanueva going and it being a real good football move. They traded Orlando Brown to the Chiefs.
They did.
So they lose one piece to add another piece. So it's kind of a wash there for me. So you can kind of see the offensive line being the same in my eyes. So that's just kind of how I feel about that one. I do agree with you. Bateman will play primarily the outside. He will move to the number one, where Marquise Brown will be the flyer. He'll be the field stretcher. Who knows? It might help to have two good, viable outside receivers instead of just having one in Willie Snead.
That's what I'm saying. Like, or a Dez Bryant. I understand that. I know Dez was a superstar at one point in time. I don't know if he still is. He's not. Like, he's not the same guy. So bringing in a guy like Rashad Bateman really helps out a lot.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Mark Andrews is Mark Andrews. If he would just catch the ball when it hits him in the big palms that he has,
meat hands,
dude, he would be a lot. The small pie would look like a lot better pie. Like, you got a big
less
pie
mold
over there that, like, you're like, oh man, it looks all right. I can eat some of that. But then you got a small pie that's like, I don't want any of that. 2 bites, it's gonna be gone. But then you get that nice looking small pie, like, you know what I'm talking about, like, you know, nice little peach cobbler with some ice cream on top. You're like, ooh, boy,
I was thinking like, do you know those like little handhold pies that you can get out of the box? They got them at the store. They got them like chocolate filling or like cherry filling and stuff like that. They're the best. Like Hostess makes them. They're the best. That's the Mark Andrews experienced pie that I would like, not the moldy pie that I got last season when I had him on my roster.
Okay. I feel you.
Little salt.
But yeah, it's still going to be Lamar's backfield no matter what. He's going to be the primary running back. Hopefully, the accuracy and arm strength kind of continues to progress for him. And hopefully, it turns into more of a pass first instead of run first type of thing. Their defense should be okay.
I mean,
until they have to play like Derrick Henry. But yeah.
Outside of that, I ain't got nothing else about the Ravens.
There's not very many good offensive weapons on the Ravens. Sorry.
I don't really want to draft a whole lot of them. Mark Andrews is the guy that I want to draft. If I can get Rashad Bateman late, I'd like to get that like a real late pick. I'm gonna get in on that,
especially for keepers. Redraft, I don't know. Redraft, I'd probably wait to see if I can get him off the waiver wire.
I don't even know what round I'd like to take J.K. Dobbins. Maybe the fourth. I'd take J.K. Dobbins, and I don't think he gets there. There's got to be some truther in your league that wants J.K. Dobbins on his team. But if I got him in the fourth or fifth, maybe the fifth, I'm happier with that. But the fourth, I could see somebody reaching and grabbing him and not being too disappointed in it, because I do think he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. I just don't think it's going to be 1,000 yards that you're going to like to see on your roster.
A consistent 1,000 yards.
Exactly. I think it's going to be a lot of boom games and then a lot of Gus Bus games and a lot of Lamar games. So that's kind of what I'm seeing out of that backfield.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Bengals.
Yep. Ooh, Cincinnati. You'll get Joe Burrow back. Good job. You'll have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Good job. I mean, it was a good, I guess, best overall pick for them. Then they went offensive tackle in the second round, coupled by two back-to-back defensive ends with another offensive tackle and then a defensive tackle, then an offensive tackle. They drafted a kicker in the fifth, a center in the sixth. Not the actor Chris Evans, but the other Chris Evans in the sixth as well. And then another defensive end in the seventh. You literally drafted Jamar Chase and then said, oh, maybe we should go get a lineman now.
Penny Sewell was there. That's what I don't understand is that, and I think the Lions came up on that pick. Like, they really did. They needed that help, and they got that help. I think that would have been a much better pick for the Bengals to go and grab. And I'm not saying it's a knock on Jamar Chase. I'm not. But, and I do think that eventually the Bengals are going to be something scary.
I don't, because by the time that they actually get everything situated in draft or off season, their players are going to be all either old or banged up and turned into a Calvin Johnson where they quit because they're tired of getting the crap knocked out of them.
Like, maybe they just need to bubble wrap Joe Burrow.
It is 2021 and they still do not have an indoor practice facility in Cincinnati, Ohio. Ohio.
Bad look, man. That's a bad look.
You know it snows multiple feet there in the winter, right?
Do they get tornadoes?
I don't think so, but
I don't know. I don't know about that.
How are you going to be? Your franchise is a joke.
You want to know something crazy?
I would really like to ask AJ Hawk about his time there. How was it?
Tornadoes are such a mystery to me. They're just witchcraft happening out there.
You want to come hang out with me for a little while?
No. I'd rather deal with my earthquakes out here. Thank you very much.
We can let you lift around. All it is when cold air and low pressure meets hot air and high pressure, and then they go like this, and then it creates some stupid thing that turns like this, and it causes a big vortex.
Yeah, it sounds like witchcraft to me. Look, I don't think it's a bad move to get Jamar Chase because I really like the pairing of the two, and I really like Joe Burrow. I want me some Joe Burrow.
Really?
But I do. Because I think that he's the real deal.
Really?
Yes.
How many complete NFL seasons has he played?
That's not important. You're out there. That
is important.
It's not important.
Ray, for fantasy football purposes, how many NFL seasons has this man played?
Well, he's only been in the league for 1 year.
Okay, and what'd you see?
He looked good.
He looked like he was dropping back for his life, and then ended up eventually tearing his ACL because no one would block for him.
Look, I'm all about it. I'm all about Joe Burrow, though.
Give me some Joe Burrow / Jamar Chase / T Higgins in 2.5, 3 years when they actually get some offensive linemen in there.
They do need, and you know what? We don't know if any of the guys that they drafted during the offseason are going to not pan out. I mean, look at Elton Jenkins. He was a second round pick, and now he's the best overall offensive lineman that can play everywhere that he wants to on that team outside of David Bakhtiari. I do think that
I mean,
they could hit on that.
They could hit on that, but that's 1 of 5.
Yeah, but gotta start somewhere, Gotta start somewhere. I wish I would have dropped.
You could have ended up having 2, possibly 3 of 5 in one draft.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have
legends.
Look at Quentin Nelson, bro, for the Colts.
It's disappointing.
They drafted him, and he's probably the best offensive lineman in the league.
It's disappointing to see. Like, I don't know. I was really disappointed with this draft in general because a lot of guys went places that I didn't want them to go.
I agree.
I wanted them to go to places that I wanted. Why can't the NFL listen to me?
Everyone loves the flashy skill position players to go places where they really want. And unfortunately, I'm sure the Bengals fans are ecstatic that they're getting Jamar Chase. But as far as a real football move goes, not that good of a pick. As far as a fantasy football move goes, it's a mediocre pick. We'll kind of have to wait to see how it pans out. Rookie wide receivers aren't really known to blow up. There are the occasional few. He might be one of the occasional few, but if Joe Burrow comes back and doesn't have time to throw the football, it's not going to be that great. If Joe Burrow comes back and he gets hurt again because he rushed back too early or his offensive line just breaks down again, that's going to tarnish Joe Burrow's career as a whole.
Where do you draft Jamar Chase?
Where do I draft Jamar Chase?
Mm-hmm. Where do you draft him?
Keeper, redraft, or dynasty?
Keeper.
10 down. I don't think he makes it there, but
no, because I can see him going probably around. Well, you know what? I think Justin Jefferson's going to boost his Jamar Chase's draft stock up because of what he did last season. I can see it happening. Jamar Chase goes in the 5th. I could see him going. I could see him going as high as the 5th. How about Joe Mixon?
Where would I want Joe Mixon?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that the offensive line isn't any better.
Where do you want him?
He's been continually drafted in the 3rd round. I'd want him in the 4th or the 5th.
Okay, that's really all I had. I don't think you're probably not.
Their defense probably isn't going to be good either.
No, they didn't do a whole lot to help themselves on defense either.
That team is overall just bad.
That organization is bad. It's unfortunate because I do think they have really good pieces.
That organization is bad. They do not have an indoor practice facility in the year of 2021 in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Put a 10 up. Something.
Huh?
You just got to put a 10 up, Do something. Do the things that you're not doing. Let's do that.
Your players are going to play for a losing organization and you're going to make them freeze in the winter? Jesus. Help them.
There was like a rumor that said that I think that Joe Burrow's agent had told him like, hey, do the thing that Eli Manning did and don't go to Cincinnati because they'll ruin your career. I think that was like a rumor that just got started like a couple weeks ago. I've seen it.
You know
how
how many
a couple times now?
You know how many quarterbacks' careers the Browns have ruined before Baker? It's one of those situations. Isn't it weird how the Bengals used to be kind of good with AJ Green and Andy Dalton, and the Browns were trash, and now they just kind of.
No, it's not weird, Aaron. No, it's not because the Browns are good. The Browns
I know
are good
they flip flop. So they are. So
who wins this division, Aaron? Who wins this division?
Cleveland.
Ooh. Who comes in last?
Cincinnati.
I think Pittsburgh does. I think Pittsburgh does.
Wait, what?
But I think Pittsburgh does, but I still think that Najee Harris, because of his volume, has a chance to be in the top 10.
You think Cincinnati beats Pittsburgh? How does Pittsburgh come in last?
Because they rely on Big Ben for too long. And Big Ben just evaporates into just like the gaseous form of his own body.
Well, I have division winners being the Cleveland Browns. I have second place team being the Baltimore Ravens. I have third being the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I have the fourth and final last place team, and potentially number 4 finish in the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, I have the Browns also winning this division handily. I think that they could get up to 12 wins, maybe 11. Let's do 11. 11's high. They had 10 last year.
They added another game this year too. Remember?
Okay, then that's really not even that big a deal if I put it at 11. So let's put it at 11. I got the Browns winning the division. Then I have the Ravens finishing in second. I think the Ravens will probably be a little bit above a 500 team. A little bit above. Unless Lamar takes a big step. If he took a big step, it's going to be a real tight division. Real tight.
So 11 to the Browns. I could agree with 11 on the Browns. I think the Ravens are, what is that, a 9-8 team?
A little above 500.
Yeah.
A little bit. Maybe even, they could have 10 wins. They could. They could have 10 wins, maybe.
They could.
I don't think the Steelers crack 500. I think they stay at 7 wins. But I think that the Bengals.
If you have the Bengals winning 8 more games,
than the Steelers would be 9. I take that back. Maybe the Steelers win 6 games. It sounds gross. I understand it sounds gross, but I don't think what you saw at the end of the season with the Steelers, it didn't get much better than that in this offseason. They didn't.
I think Big Ben comes back rested and gives you that quick out of the gate 6 to 7 games like they always do.
And then they sneak in another couple.
Yep.
I guess I could see that too, but I'm not changing my take. I'm not doing it. I refuse.
That's fine. Key players throughout the division.
Guys that I want to take a look at and drafting throughout that entire division is what you're asking? Nick Chubb.
For sure.
That's who I want. That's who I want in my life. Give me some Chubb.
For sure.
I don't mind having Juju on my roster if I got him late. I don't mind that. I think he's going to have 80 plus receptions. They might not be worth anything, but I mean, like I said, if you get him last or you get him late in the draft, it's not bad. Or you pick him up from somebody that he starts out slow, doesn't want him on his roster anymore. You pick him up on your team. Maybe he gets to 80 plus receptions. I don't know. I want Najee Harris. I want that in my life. And I wouldn't mind having J.K. Dobbins if I got him at the right price. But I'm not sold on his ADP of being a second round, third round running back. I don't like that. I don't think that's where he should be. Because he's not the primary rusher on that team. That's it, you know. And then on the Bengals, it's kind of like the same instance with Joe Mixon. I don't necessarily want Joe Mixon on my team, but if I got him at the right price, I'm not going to be mad about it. He's going to have 200 plus touches. He's going to have the receiving work in the backfield. He's the only guy in town in the backfield. So I don't mind that. I like Joe Burrow if I got him very late in the draft. He's basically a streamer, I think, until I can see that they have at least a little bit of pass protection, just a little bit. I like Jamar Chase later in the draft. I like that. Maybe something to keep. I'm not saying that he's going to be Justin Jefferson. I'm not. But I'm also saying that sometimes you got to take a shot. You got to shoot your shot to make it happen, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
You got to shoot your shot.
I feel you.
If you're drafting him past the 10th round, if he makes it that far, I doubt it. That's what I'm saying. I doubt that he makes it that far. But he makes it past the 10th round. What are you spending on that? It's a flyer anyway. That's It's like picking up like I don't know, Deshaun Jackson because he plays for the Rams. I'm like, oh man, he can catch like 5 touchdowns that are deep
Trash.
passes and
Stay
win
away
1
from
week.
that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you picking up in those rounds? Probably nothing. Why not take a shot on Jamar Chase and if he does fall there, and maybe you have a keeper next year because he
Maybe.
hits. It's all a
Maybe.
gamble at that point,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
fair.
it.
Maybe. I'm like you, Juju late, Najee depending upon the price. I would look at Rashad Bateman late. Mark
Oh yes,
Andrews.
yes, sir.
Mark Andrews, I'm gonna look at as a premium tight end candidate because if he holds on to a few balls, man, like I think I saw 6 times last year he dropped one that hit him in the
At
hands in the end
least,
zone. In
at
the end
least
zone alone.
those were games that I lost. By the way.
Let me see here. The Browns obviously Chubb. I would look at Kareem Hunt if you're a team that doesn't end up getting Nick Chubb. I would look at Kareem Hunt later. I had Kareem Hunt on my roster last year, traded for him, and it worked out for me. I know Nick Chubb got hurt, but even when Chubb was in the games, he's still viable. He's one of those players that have you on the edge of your seat all game because the first 3 quarters it's like, oh, he's only got 6 points. I'm gonna lose, but then that 4th quarter it's like, oh man, he turned 6 points into 24. Oh man.
Yeah, because
Happy
he
with
got in the
that.
end zone a couple
That's
times.
that's what I'm saying. Caught a few balls, played pretty much the whole 4th quarter, which is really good for Cleveland as a football team because they can keep both of their legs fresh.
Yeah,
I would. This is me. I would look at Jarvis Landry later. He has a tendency to come in and help teams out. I'm not saying he's going to win you a league, but he might win you a week or 2 as a streaming option.
or if somebody gets hurt on your roster,
Yeah.
always something to think about as well.
And Cincinnati, they ruined my take on T. Higgins with the drafting of Jamar Chase. So I would take Joe Mixon if he fell at a certain point. But as far as receivers go, I think I might sit this one out.
Yeah, the AFC North it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. A lot of guys you're gonna have to sit and wait and see. You're not gonna want to shoot your shot on a lot of them. I think that Najee Harris is probably the one you want to shoot your shot on, like the 3rd round, or if you got Chubb 5th overall, I'm not mad at it. I think that would be a good spot for him, 5th overall.
Maybe, but
those are guys that I want. Those are 2 guys that I really want on my roster.
Yeah, feel you. But I think that pretty much wraps up that division, eh?
I think.
All right, guys. Well, until next week and until next time, we will see you guys later.